Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. This episode has been a long time coming, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm going to dive into the powerful benefits of journaling. And if you've been tuned into me for some time now, you know that I'm always talking about journaling, specifically, what it has done for me in my life. And that's really what I want to unpack in this episode. It's not about me as much as it's about what it has offered me. And that's important because whether it's in my coaching practice or, just in my community, I get asked questions all the time, that are centered around, how do you develop stronger levels of self-confidence, courage, self-love? How do you develop these habits, that shape this lifestyle that keep your health and your wellness optimized? Here's the biggest question. How do you really live from your authentic self? How do you enforce those boundaries and stay in that integrity? When maybe you're, at risk of losing something or getting hurt or, any of that. And even how do you know who your authentic self is? And that's what I'm going to unpack in this episode. So let's start with the authentic self. So when I think of the authentic self, I'm thinking of an individual's core needs, their core values, their core and leading attributes, their core beliefs, what do they stand for? Their core tenets, what makes them tick, what turns them on, what turns them off, their goals, their true passions, what they're really interested in, their vision, if they have it, all of this stuff, boundaries, what they're saying yes to, what they really want to say yes to, and what they really want to say no to. That's so huge. All of that is what makes the authentic self, right? That's my interpretation of the authentic self. And, I often talk about how, I'll give my levels of self-confidence. I give 40% of the fortification and the development of my self-confidence to the challenges that I've faced in my life, and also the challenges that I continue to face, the challenges that I seek. But I give 60% to this fact, to this truth that I've only ever operated from my most authentic self, no matter what the cost, no matter what it meant, no matter what pain or discomfort I would have to face as a result of that. I've always been loyal to my most authentic self. And I'll tell you what, I developed a very, very strong and deeply rooted relationship with my most authentic self at an earlier age because of all of the time I've invested with myself in my journal. So let's think about how do you get to develop a loving, a strong, a reverent, a healthy relationship with anybody, anybody? You have to invest time in getting to know them and connecting with them. And I think the misconception is that, you're in your body, your name, your family, your friends, your job. So you really already know who you are. You have a real connection. No, that's certainly not what I've experienced. Just being very connected to people, paying attention, human behavior. I think, especially as we, it could start from earlier age, but definitely as, you move on in life, the authentic self, the volume on all those core needs and all the things that I talked about in your authentic self, that volume tends to, be turned down or even shut down completely because of external factors coming in. Could be loved ones, could be, pressure from friends, community, society, all of that stuff. Right. And so if you're not investing in, getting to know all of this stuff that makes you you and essentially turning the volume up on that, it's really hard to operate from your authentic self. Right. So when people talk to me and ask me the question of how have you developed, this empowered version of yourself? How do you operate from your most authentic self? The MVP, the most valuable player in my journey that has helped me to be the woman that I am today is my journal. It's my journal. I actually call it my favorite room. It's a sacred portal where I get to connect with myself. It's not there to judge me. There's no time limit. It's not, costing me by the hour. It's not criticizing me. It's literally just this very safe and open place for me to express myself. And, throughout my life, because I've been, writing for the majority of it, right? Writing was the first creative expression from my heart. So journaling is very, very dear and personal to me. But the kind of approach in my journal throughout all these years, like decades now, it's evolved. And, my personal, just give you a little kind of, how I go about it is, I tend to do a couple things. First and foremost, I'm always like philosophizing, and I love philosophy, and so very poetically philosophizing on life. And I'm also doing deep investigation work with myself. I love to ask myself questions. I channel a lot with my highest self. I also future pace, so I tend to do a lot of like visualization work in there. Like I'm operating from this future version of myself, ultimately my highest self. So I share that with you just because there's so many different ways you can go about journaling. And, when I started journaling, I certainly did not go about it in this like high performance tool way. And I know that, a lot of high performers talk about the powerful, benefits of journaling. I mean, there's so much science-backed information on what journaling can do for an individual. It's literally a form of therapy. So it really does support mental health. I can tell you right now, when I'm going through shit in my life, you better believe I'm going to my journal. I go into movement, I connect with nature, I go into my journal, and it always pivots me, always pivots me. And that's why it's so important. I'm here living my purpose. My purpose is this. I'm here to impact, to support, and to empower as many individuals as I possibly can around the world to live from your most authentic self and to cultivate a life of fulfillment, to have you thriving in your life from your most authentic self. So this is why it's so huge to talk about this tool that I know in my life and even in my coaching practice has served me to be able to do this, to know who I fucking am and to loyally operate from her and only her, right? As I evolve, she's expressed, right? So I'm not talking about this like one version of yourself, but I am talking about knowing your core values, knowing your core needs, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you truly are desiring to experience in your life and going for that, like what you truly want to say yes to and what you fucking truly want to say no to, and being loyal to all of that, right? And so, self-connection it's everything. You're never going to own yourself and love yourself if you're not connected to yourself. Capital SELF. And if you read my writing, it's always capitalized, and it's capitalized for a reason. I'm really trying to put emphasis on this self piece, that you really have to develop a relationship with self. And when you fucking do, everything changes. When you cultivate this loving, this reverent, this healthy, this courageous, this fortified, relationship with yourself, you just move through life differently. You're rooted. You're never alone when you're going into battle. And you've developed this unbreakable, loving, confident, strong, brave, reverent relationship with yourself. You move into battle very differently. You move into battle differently. And that's why, I teach, I coach, I support, I talk about what I call these inside out empowerment tools. Here's something so important to bring into this conversation. I personally believe that who we believe we are, who we believe we're becoming, I mean, hopefully you have a vision of that, is dictating what we're experiencing in our life. It literally, it's how we move through our life. It shapes your behaviors, your habits, your actions, everything that makes your life, right? This belief about who you are and who you're becoming. I think a lot of times people are thinking about the things, the career, the relationship, the homes, the material things. Like once I get that, then it's like, wait, hold on. Those things don't make you. You make those things. So the focus, and this is why it's so centered in my, everything that I talk about, whether it's to my coaching community or to my online community, like it's just what I'm passionate and I know I'm here to share is this: focus on in here. Who are you? Who are you becoming? And when you get clear on that, and when you get these attributes dialed in, and all of the character pieces that are going to feel in alignment with you, that feel good, that empower you, I promise you, all the things will be a match to that character. I mean, they're going to be a match no matter what. So that's important to put in here too, right? So if you're operating from a very disempowered character, well, your life might be showing you that too. But when you really develop this relationship and this ownership of your most authentic self, your most empowered self, well, all of that is frequency, energy that is calling in your experience, your relationships, your, profession, career, job, your financial experience, like all of it, right? So the importance of focusing on this being that you are is priceless. It's everything. So I am so excited. The reason why this episode took some time to put out is because I've been working on something for several years now, and she's finally here. I'm so excited to share that I have officially brought to life my very first guided and illustrated journal called You Are the Path. So I'm going to show it. So if you're not watching the episode, you might want to go back and look, but you could also go to blackbeltbeauty.com because the journal is actually out for sale now. But I want to talk about this. This is very special for me. And if you follow me on Instagram, maybe you've, seen me write over the years, you are the path, you are the path. You are the path is not something that is just so you are the path actually came to me in a moment with my journal where I'm going to actually read this to you because this is so powerful. So June 6, 2017, I wrote, "My heart feels like she's sifting and sorting. She's in deep desire to be awakened with a peace that will make the path so perfectly clear. And yet, as I write this, I feel the need to say, no, that's not it. She doesn't need to dig to discover the path. She is the path, and I just need to live her." Wow! Exclamation point. It was a really fucking holy shit moment for me. It was so profound. It was like, wait, hold on. And it goes back to me saying, like, it all comes down to you, like the being that you are, right? Living yourself. One day in meditation, these words that really go hand in hand with that, I downloaded, and it's, you are the life you're living, right? You are the path, right? Diving into yourself, learning who you are, and then operating with devotion and loyalty, no matter what, to that who you are, to that authentic self. That is the path. That's the path that creates the life of fulfillment. And I'm not excluding challenges, because to gain any victory, in my opinion, there is going to be some kind of challenge, whether it's self-critic, an inner voice challenge, a financial challenge, a physical challenge, a relationship, whatever it is, all of the above. Like, you're going to have battles, but I always say, like, you got to feel worthy of the battle, right? How do you develop that self-worth? You got to know who you are, right? So in my world, again, what has helped me to know who I am and to really love who I am and to own who I am and to loyally operate from who I am and only her is my journal. So, this is a very, very special journal. It's not just ordinary stationery. I partnered with a very dear friend of mine who's an incredible artist, Emerald Paget. I brought her the idea. She loved it. And so, it's a very mystical experience. And I wanted this environment of a journal to stand out. Like, my journals are more kind of stationary journals, right? Because I go through them like every 2 months because I write every day, but You're the Path is this beautiful segment of you in your life that, I wanted your imagination evoked. So, Emma comes in with her beautiful artwork. There's this theme of the butterfly, and all of this was really channeled. Like, I saw it. I mean, the blue, everything in it. There's 7 sections. There's prompts that you can ignore. All of the sections have a very direct intention that I've designed, but again, you can ignore it. There's a quote from me in every section. I'm going to show, if you're not watching, you might want to, but I mean, the artwork in this is beautiful. Emma is she's incredible. There's also, in the beginning of the journal, there is some backstory to me and what journaling, to my journaling experience and what it's done for me. But, this is not some product that I'm just trying to sell you. I'm fucking here to sell you. Like, I'm selling you to you. I want you to start to really connect with this authentic version of who you are, and to be loyal to that individual, to operate your life from that individual, right? And to now, obviously I have the podcast here to support you. If you're in Queendom, I'm supporting you there, my online community, but to actually be able to provide a tangible tool, and one that is so deep and meaningful to me in my life because of all the things I talked about, it really, I'm very proud and very excited to share this with you. This journal is really special too, because it has both lined and blank pages, and a fun backstory on that. When I started journaling, it was like stationary, whatever. But then there was just like a segment where it was hardcore for me, like segment of my journaling where it was like, and I was traveling so much at that time in my life. Like, I lived in New York and Hawaii at the same time at one point. And I was just, so it was a lot of traveling. And my journals were like these thick sketchbooks. And the reason why is because I did not want lines. Don't try and cage me. I totally understand why I did like reflective work later. I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. My autonomy, I was fighting for my autonomy. And like, these lines, like, don't try and, keep me into this box. No way. Right. So in those journals, I write all over the pages. And I do a lot of sketching too. I'm an artist, it's like, I love to just go and creatively express myself. But later in life, and it's the case now, I love my lines. My lines, it's a different energy. It's, my autonomy is so strong. It's done. Like, no one's taken that from me. Right. But these lines really help me to have this beautiful, refined, intentional and directional energy when I'm writing. So as I was saying, like, journaling is very, you're going to go about it in however, way that feels good to you. And, I want to talk about, I know that journaling can feel very daunting to people. It can feel very, because I've talked to so many people about journaling now, and it's like, I don't even know what to do. Or maybe you start and then you're not consistent. And so I'm excited to also share, and all the details for this are in the show notes, but I'm hosting a journaling event, right? So think workshop, but don't really think school. Like, we're hanging, we're connecting. There's going to be a Q&A. So we're really going to get to connect intimately. And so, I hope that, even if you are an avid journaler already, that you come and just connect with me in this workshop. But if you've been wanting to start a journaling practice, this workshop, this experience, this event with me is really going to help you to do that. I'm going to take deeper dives into everything that I talked about in the solosode, and, again, ask any questions to help you get past, any roadblocks. I also have some tips and strategies that I think will be very useful to you, because again, I've been journaling for the majority of my life, and there's been different ways about it. And I'll tell you this, like once you feel it's a feeling thing. It's not like, oh, do it for 30 days. Like forget about that. Like whatever. Once you feel the connection that you create with yourself by having a journaling practice, or in my world, it's ritual, I promise you, you can't stop. Because think about any other relationship that matters to you. Do you stop investing? Do you need to make the call? Do you need to make plans to go, connect? Well, yeah, of course you do. They matter to you. And it's the same thing with yourself. You're going to need that time to connect with yourself, because you have a real relationship with your capital SELF, right? So I'm going to leave this here for now, and I'll leave more for the journaling event that I do hope, you come to, online event, obviously. And if you have any questions, or if there's any thoughts that come up from taking this episode in, please do connect with me on Instagram. If you've already been connecting with me there, that I'm very present, and I'm always, I always answer the DMs, the comments, and I'm here to connect with you. But yeah, this one is really special for me, you guys. Again, I'm going to hold up the journal, but it's available right now, blackbeltbeauty.com. You are the path. And I really do hope that this finds its way into your hearts and into your minds, into your life. If you do, get this journal, please share it on your social media and tag me and Emerald. Her IG is also in the show notes as well. And let's just keep the conversation going. I'm here to support you in every way that I can to really develop this relationship with your honest self. It is the most empowering thing you can do to move through your life as you, period. End of story. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks, because what you feel about you is more important than what anybody thinks about you. I promise you, when you're operating from that place, life just shows up for you in a way that feels really good. Even your challenges, you fucking respect them because you're worthy of them. And so you're certainly worthy of the victories on the other side of them. And your journal helps you get into those victories. So again, I can go on and on. I'm leaving it here. Guys, I love you. I'm so excited for you to get You Are the Path and to keep this conversation going about journaling and all things that support you to live from your most badass, empowered, authentic self. So I love you. I will see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.